Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How we doing? Well, I'll pop in and see you all. We just finished working. We've been doing this I work for a living, trying to do good in the world. That's all we can do, isn't it? Nice to see you. Boris at it again. Politicians, the political sphere at the minute is just all fairy tales and Christ knows what else, isn't it? It's disastrous. It's a disaster zone, especially after last weekend when 35,000 people surrounded Downing Street. Cool, dear oh life. That was something else. That was modern day miracle, seeing that lot. I'm just a man. Oi, oi. How we doing, Karen Campbell? How are you, sweetheart? Jessica's wedding DIY. Hello, darling. Jessica's wedding. When you're getting married, or is that a company you've got going there? You do DIY weddings. Is that what you do? DIY weddings? Big up. Loving that. Carol, Georgina. Hello, darling. Hello. Not even mentioned. Yes, you are. Jessica wedding DIY. 28th of May, 2021. It's interesting, actually. I've just watched Anna Breeze. Now, she's got a fantastic channel on YouTube, and she's done something really clever. She's got ordinary, everyday people sending in their podcasts about what they think is going on in the world. It's fantastic. Something we haven't seen for a long time. And she was ITV presenter, BBC presenter, and she has now gone on her own, turned her back on the mainstream. And BBC are having a dig at her now. They're turning on her, turning on one of their own or one of their exes. But I've always said, when you're over the target, expect flack, right? Shirley Farrell, hello, sweetheart. But I also do wedding decorations, DIY. Oh, wonderful, beautiful. Whereabouts are you based, Jessica? Lovely to hear that. Oh, hello, Po. Hello. Carol, Georgina, I'm Ben Dow. Lovely. It's Jessica Rowlands. Oh, hello, sweetheart. Yeah, I know you, Jessica. Bedfordshire, lovely part of the world, darling. It's quite posh in Bedfordshire. People get out of the bath to take a piss up there. It is. It's quite posh. Fair play. So they're at it again. There's part of the part of the country, I don't know, it's been on lockdown and they've been giving it real big billy ones with the lockdown. And they're implementing it even harder. Can someone please tell me where this virus is hanging out? We've got Philip Schofield and Ollie Willoughby cuddling through condoms on TV in the morning. And yet all the football teams, I don't know what team it was a couple of days ago that won some cup. No people in the crowd, by the way. They're just making all these microphones sound like there's massive 40,000, 50,000 people. It's the weirdest thing going on. Well, we're living on a clown planet right now. But all these footballers at the end, they got this cup. They're all hugging. They're spreading the COVID juice. They're not hugging through condom curtains. That's what Philip Schofield did. Perhaps it's because Phil's come out. Maybe because Philip's come out, perhaps he didn't want to touch anyone of the female form. But just so that everyone else around the country and around the world can see how great Philip Schofield is, Bosh, he's giving Ollie Willoughby a cuddle. Did I say Ollie Willoughby? I did, didn't I? A cuddle through a big, massive condom that you put your hands through. It's like a scene out of The Matrix. I don't get it. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on in the world? And it's all theatre. It's all these people like Ollie Willoughby and Philip Schofield. They're being used as pawns now, aren't they? I mean, Phil come out about his gayness last year because he's so brave. Ollie Willoughby said, I want to talk about my partner Philip this morning being such a brave man. What about his wife and kids? What about the wife and kids? I'm sure they all thought it was really brave of him to be doing it at the time. Anyway, it is what it is. These people sold. They've sold their souls. And there's nothing we can do to help them. They're sold out. They're sold out. But thankfully, I think a lot of people around this country and around the world now are saying, we're not having this no more. We're not seeing. I mean, my neighbours over the road, I was chatting with them earlier in their 80s, and they're saying to me, does anyone know anyone with this stuff? I'm like, no, I don't know anyone with this thing. Do you know anyone with this thing? No, and you might know odd two people, and then if you know someone that's got it, they go, oh yeah, my so-and-so's had it. Oh right, yeah. Did they know anyone? Yeah, and they know someone that's died from it. But they was 86 and they had diabetes type 2 and underlying health conditions. Oh, all right. Yeah, it's killer disease, man. Killer disease. Not one kid's got it. Not one kid has died from this COVID, the certificate of vaccination identification 19. Not one kid. I should have shared this video with my screen share. There is a substance that they're including in these vaccines called luciferase. Luciferase. I don't know if you've seen what they're talking about putting in these vaccines. A part of it, apparently, it's a bringer of light, which don't make sense to me. But there is a substance called luciferase, and it's going in a lot of these vaccines. So looks like you're going to be getting Lucifer pumped into you. Have some of that. What are we saying, Jessica? I was with my friend today. She told me about a friend that had a child taken by social services because she broke the COVID rules. Cool. What are we in? What kind of a world are we in, man? This is certainly Satan's kingdom, isn't it? 800,000 people have died around the world. Of what? Of COVID juice? Are we saying that 800,000 people have died around the world of the COVID juice? I'm not too sure them figures are correct, personally. They stick it where the sun don't shine. Exactly. I'm with you, I'm Ben down. I am proper with you. That's awful. Keep your kids close. Mate, I wouldn't be sending my kids to school right now. I'd be saying, no, I ain't having none of that gangster stuff. What? No. We're dealing with Luciferian people now in the system, I'm afraid. They're like, I liken them to cats, pussycats. Now, I've got a beautiful cat, and it comes and sits on my laps, purrs, leaves hair everywhere, all over me, especially having me jumper when it lays by the side of my bed, cheeses me right off. And that cat to me is lovely. It might scratch me down again when it's had enough. But then I'll hear it meowing out the back door and I think, oh, what's it killed now? What is it killed now? And it does it like butter won't melt. It kill a mouse, rip its head off, and we're like, oh, God, what's that cat done? But you don't give it a second thought. And that's like the people of the system now. Nicking kids, no worries, we go home and sleep at night. It's bashing you up, dragging you out your cars, beating you up, twisting you up, pushing your head on the tarmac with our jack boots. We don't care. They go home and sleep at night. They have their dinner, go to bed, get up in the morning, do it all again. All again. That's the really scary part for me. Me too. She's half Persian, black and fluffy. Bob's your uncle. Can I ask, would you take someone to dog worming tablets instead of cancer treatment? I have heard there is a dog worming tablet called, it begins with a P, I think. I can't think the name of it. But yeah, I have heard there was a man that was making claims quite some time ago that he had cancer. He heard about this dog worming treatment, dog medication, and he took it, and he didn't have any left in his body after he took it. I don't like using the words cure because you can be done for the words cure. But treatment and getting rid of cancer, no problem. You mentioned the word cure, they'll have you up faster than you can say Jack Rabbit. Dogs still get cancer, Katie pushes. People are waking up now, but they've still got a long way to go yet. Yeah, I agree with you, Jessica. I do. But we have to try and play our part in bringing people over casually, Bob's your uncle. Let them make their own minds up. We have to. But I just see that this political, why would you steal kids? Because you ain't following COVID rules. How's that? Where's the justification? The only justification that is obviously councils are making millions of pounds out of children. It's slavery. We're in a world of slavery, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. Financial slavery. Men and women ain't allowed to own property no more. You're not allowed to have control over your property. You can never own anything anyway because you're going to die. So you don't get all these things you're playing with right now. You don't get to take with you. They're just props. We're just in this world trying to get through, That's all we're trying to do. But just because someone won't follow the COVID 1984 narrative, they want to take your kids off you. They're not taking them for their health. They're not taking them for the well-being of the children. They're taking them because they're cash converters. £2,500 a month per kid. You kidding me? Social services are loving it. They're smashing them bonds out of the park. Disgusting. But we need money, Dave. Otherwise, it will be chaos. Hello, Jesus Jones. You all right, love? Nice to see you. Saskia. Hello, sweetheart. It's your first time. First timer. Lovely. This country is king of corruption. Yeah, you best believe, mate. You best believe. The money for fostering a child comes from the government to the council to pay for a care of that child. Boom. There you go. They're making money off the birth certificate bond. Funnily enough, I'll tell you about a little story that happened quite a few years ago. John Harris spoke about this on many of his talks. A woman had 4 children, split up with her partner, and so she was struggling, and rather than give proper assistance to social services, see, this is half the problem. The system will demonise single mothers and that, which they shouldn't be doing. They're the ones that they need to help the most. And what they do, they make them vulnerable, and then they say, you're not looking after your kids. Oh, we're going to take the kids because we're making fortunes out of them. Absolute bundles of dosh. But anyway, John Harris talked about this woman that had 4 children, and social services come round and took all of them. They took all the kids, and the mother was left on the front doorstep crying her eyes out, right? Crying her eyes out. And quite a few hours later, a car turns up with 1 child returning. This is a true story. This is an absolute. May God strike me down if I'm telling a lie. Hang on, it's just stopped. I'm only teasing. She was bewildered. This 1 child stood in front of her. Where's the other 3? The answer she got and response she got from social services is, we don't have any paperwork for this one. We don't own it. Can you believe? Can you try and get your head around this, people? I've tried for years. I can't get my head around how this system operates. I never will do. For me, it's a vile, dirty, Luciferian thing. But yeah, they said, no, we don't own this one. So we have to bring it back. Social services can only claim what they own, which is the birth certificate piece of paper. And here's another gory fact you probably didn't know. When you go and when the hospital, if you have your baby in hospital, there's 2 parts of the baby that come into the world, right? There's the baby, the living, breathing soul, and then there's the placenta, all right? Now, we've heard all rumours over the years that there's been celebrities like Tom Cruise apparently cooked his up and had them with liver and onions. Bob's your uncle. And the placenta's got so many, it's like the rainbow. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I've seen both my children when they come into the world. Cried my eyes out. It's one of the most amazing things you'll ever see is your own flesh and blood coming into the world that you've created. It's like, whoa. So it's all different colours, mauves, purples, yellows. It's all weird, greens. It's like the rainbow. It's a bizarre thing. But there's 2 parts. So they clip the umbilical cord and they cut it, and there's a severance, all right? Then you've got the placenta, you've got the baby. What you're supposed to do is let that placenta come out and stop pulsing, and then you clamp it and cut it. Because what that's doing is chucking all the stem cells into that baby. But they don't. They come out straight away, boss, they clamp it, and it's not good. You should insist on that placenta coming out with the baby, and then it stop pulsing and it's pumping all the stem cells, and that child, I guarantee you, will have a better chance of survival at life and a better life and a stronger life than it would do if it had it cut. But anyway, they bring the placenta and the child into the world and they cut them, but they're part of one. One goes on and lives, the other one's dead, obviously. But social services and the system, what they're claiming to own is the placenta. They can never claim to own the living soul. So it comes into the world and they write their certificates out. They're claiming to own the dead placenta. And that's sick, isn't it? Try and get your head around that. Try and get your head around. We got people in this world and in this country that claim to own a placenta. And they do the birth certificate and all that because it's dead. They claim and own the placenta. And they can never, ever lay a claim on owning the living, breathing soul because that would go against God's law, and they cannot do that. The placenta is in and out, clean and dirty blood and urine, and all the other all leaves the mum through it. It's panic station when the baby comes out. Karen Campbell, if you have it in hospital and you know to social services they can take it, must have a court order. But what they're actually doing, they claim to own the placenta. But if there's no paperwork, if your parents never ever register your child, now someone said to me, yeah, but you can't get passports and all that. I will disagree with that, because friends of mine about 3 years ago put up a massive Facebook post. Thank you, Dave Witcher. Their child is in a chair, just over a year old, with a passport on its chest, no birth certificate, but it's still got a passport, because they can't go against your faith and beliefs. They're not allowed to. This is where we have to go. Free man of the land. Dave Witcher, hi, Jesus Jones. Durfee, how are you, love? Beautiful to see you. Well, Wandsworth is committing fraud. They've got my six-day-old baby. Adama Korma, mate. I'm telling you. Have you registered the baby? Have you registered the child? If you've not registered the child, they've really not got a leg to stand on. That's theft. That's disgusting. I'm sorry you're going through that right now. Good evening, David and Sovereign Souls. Son of Ike Wilson. Hello, son. How are you? Mark Busby. Hello, mate. Free man of the land. Well, free man of the land is the stuff that we all cut our teeth on years ago, right? Oh, it's just about to rain. It's what got me going. The system treated me so bad once. It left me feeling violated. It left me feeling raped. And that I'll never forget looking at these two women that work for Inland Revenue. I said, you've upset me today. I said, I've always participated in the system because I thought it was a good thing to do and the righteous thing to do. But I know you people are not righteous. So I'm not. Oh, yeah, whatever. So that was the last I dealt with them. And once I figured out all this system, I'm like, oh, my God. So what reason have they taken the child then, Adama? It's disgusting. Social services, biggest bunch of crooks you'll ever meet in this world. And they're going to hell, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, all these people that are stealing these children are going to hell. Now, I believe in God. I believe that there's an all-divine, all-seeing creator. And I will take my protection from that, right? Now, I want to tell you a little story. I listened to a podcast on YouTube the other day by a group called Lions of Judah. And this woman, she, as a true Christian, she'd been praying and she'd been spending some time with some people and had a few to drink and thought, right, okay, I've missed my last bus home. I think she said she had about a 30-minute walk. So she thought, I'll walk home. So she started walking. She said, no, I'm protected. The big man upstairs has got my protection. I've asked for protection. I'll pray for protection every day. I'm going to be all right. So she was almost home and she had to go down an alleyway. And she noticed halfway down the alleyway was this bloke looking a bit like, what's a geezer doing out there this time of night? So she hesitated and then she thought, I'm protected. I've prayed to God, give me your protection. Bob's your uncle. She walked past him. The guy looked her up and down, never touched her. Now, she got home, went to bed, thought nothing of it. The next morning, she got up, turned on her radio or the telly. It's a true story, this is. True stories. God is my witness. True story. She'd seen that this woman had been attacked and murdered and raped in exactly the same alley 20 minutes after she walked down it. So she's like, whoa. So she phoned the police and she said to the police, I think I know who did this because I walked down that alley 20 minutes before. So the police said, wow, would you be prepared to identify and pick him out in a lineup? Would you recognize him? She went, oh, yeah. So she turns up at the police station, pulls this man out of a lineup. So the man's now on a murder and rape thing. And the police said to her, have you got any questions for this man? And she said, yeah, I have. I've got one question. And that question is, why didn't he attack me? Because this was 20. He obviously went out with the intent to harm and murder and rape and do whatever, why didn't he attack her? So the police asked him this question. And when they come back to her, it shocked her. And the police said, he said he wouldn't attack you or didn't attack you because you had two tall gentlemen either side of you walking down that path with you. And she went, but I was alone. She said, not by his account. The rapist, the murderer, told the police that he never attacked this woman because she had two big, tall knights in shining armor with her. Now, you tell me what's all that about. There is something more divine in this world than we give credence to. She was protected. Now, I feel protected. I feel that there's nothing any man or woman could do here whilst on earth that would bother me, even if they killed me, even if someone from the system come round and did whatever, it wouldn't bother me one iota. I don't care. I don't live in that fear. And I've had many people over the years say, Dave, you're not worried? I went, worried about what? What's to worry about? I don't live in fear. I really don't. So that's a fantastic story. And that's a true story. This woman foiled her attacker because this attacker see her walking down this alleyway with two knights in shining armor. And there was no one there. She was on her own. But she wasn't on her own. So there's more to this than meets the eye. Adama, I've got my fair share of social services, and I know. Right, Adama, find yourself a bit of pen and paper. And when you do, let me know, because I'm going to give you a couple of names, and I want you to look them up on Facebook. And they help get children back from social services very quickly too. You got to a nice place in spirit, so the tax man can never get you. So what you got to fear in the spirit world, exactly. It's just wrong what they're doing because my baby was 6 days old, baby, when she was stolen without being registered by Wandsworth Social Services. I'll put you in touch with a couple of people. Just let me know when you got a pen and paper, and I'll give you the names. All right. Jessica Wedding, too many people fear death. That's how COVID pandemic is working out. Amen. Everywhere I go to. Now, I went into my local spa shop the other day, right? Sunday. I'm the only man in there without one on. Only man in there. Everyone's looking at me. Everybody's looking at me. I didn't care. No one said anything to me. The people that were going to say something to me, I just smiled at them so brightly that they just went, they never said nothing. So the only man in there without a mask on. I've never worn a mask. And I will never, ever wear a mask. Because this new normal that they're bringing in is not normal at all. Same on some places. I'm ready for the barber. Yeah, I'm not wearing a mask. Put your mask on. No, I ain't putting a mask on. Don't want to. I need someone to help me take social services court. Can you help? I can put you in touch with a couple of people that get children back. I'll tell you a little story about a couple of people that I deal with. This was about 18 months ago. There was 3 Irish kids in Belfast, 2 boys and a girl. Age ranges 8 to 12, I'd say. And they were due to be going to full-time adoption from this country to Italy, would you believe? Social services are selling their kids to the Italians now. Beautiful. How corrupt. So my friends got involved, and then kids were home with mother within 6 weeks. Bosh, with the documents that we served on the courts, 6 weeks, then kids were home. Now, they sent me pictures of the kids on the trains on the way home, all laughing and joking back with mother. And the judge even ordered that the mother have a new house. Okay. So she's got everything she ever wants. And the judge said to my friends, that's the best case I've ever sat through. Thank you so much. I've got pictures of these kids. I'm not prepared to put them all over here. If you want to see them in a private, I'll send you to them. Or I'll put you in touch with the people that dealt with the case. All right. So I'm going to give you a couple of names here now. So have you got a pen and paper, Adama? And I want you to write a name down. And I want you to get in touch with this individual and they'll help you get your child back. All right. Right. Okay. So on Facebook, on my profile, Dave Witcher. Now, my profile is a picture of someone in spiritual armor and the verse Ephesians chapter 6, all right, where we wrestle not with flesh and blood. You'll see my profile. Add me on Facebook, and I want you to look up on my friends list a woman called Stella, Steellar, Fairbairn, Fairbairn. Contact Stella. Stella and John help get children back from social services, and they're very, very, very good at it. All right. Cody McAllister. Hello, darling. How are you, love? We're all going to catch the virus, says Victoria West Payne. It just hoping you don't get a bad dose and need the hospital. We're all going to catch the virus. You're more probably likely to catch the virus, Victoria, from the vaccines that they're going to be dishing out, because that's going to have a lot of stuff in there that you really don't want in your bodies, let me tell you. But if that's your belief, darling, that's up to you. Personally, it's no worse than the common flu. The symptoms may be people with their respiratory issues and stuff. But what gets me about all this is you get people out there harping on about wear a mask. Where's your mask? Put your mask on. The mask Zorro warriors, as I call them. But when you go shopping or you see them out in the street, you take a look and you see the food that they're pumping into their kids. They're smoking, they're drinking all the fizzy stuff. And you think, you've got no idea how to keep your temple safe. You've got no idea how to keep your body in alignment. All right. Now, look, no one's unsusceptible to catching anything. You can catch AIDS, you can catch shingles, you can catch tuberculosis, you can catch all sorts. And there's so many, a cacophony of things that you could die from. Yeah. But if you're worried about that, you're not living your life. Yeah. You're not living, you're existing. Now, Jesus Christ himself says, fear not, worry not about your life. Worry not. God gives you all these promises about you're eternally loved. He loves you so much, he counts every hair on your head. Your hairs on your head are numbered, right? So pay attention to that kind of things. Yeah, Victoria West Payne, I agree. General hygiene. But look, let me turn the light on. That's better. We get 30,000 people die a year of the flu. How many people have died since this thing's kicked off of suicide, of malnutrition, of cancer, because they can't get into the hospitals for operations because the hospitals are shut down? Why are we having all these people in the NHS now starting to speak out and scream out saying it's a big fraud? Why are we saying we're not busy, we're empty? Where are all the bodies? It's easy to inflate the figures if you're putting cancer deaths down as COVID-19. It's easy to get the death up if someone's died of tuberculosis or a heart attack or their spleen's ruptured and you put down on a certificate COVID-19. So simple. So simple. Thousands of people die every day, ladies and gentlemen. Life is not a guarantee. Eternal life is. This life isn't. I got brain damage from grammar school education of history, lies, and the science book. Exactly. So don't live in fear. That's what I'm saying. Be careful, be respectful, but don't live in fear, because if you're living in fear, you're not living. You're really not. You're just existing and you're trying to scrape through. And it's all about dodging the bullet. One day you're not going to dodge the bullet. One day it's going to get you. Something's going to get you. We got a school in this area in a place called Coxheath. They had a headmaster 3 months ago in his 40s, fit as a fiddle. Marathons, running here, there and everywhere. Massive aorta rupture, dead. The pupils were all devastated. They couldn't believe it. Their headmaster, dead. He never see that coming. He's like a steam train hitting. Bosh. When your number's called, that's it. Game over. When God calls you home, you're going home. There's no beating it. So, but the purpose of life is to live life. And it's to not walk in fear. I take my wisdom from the Holy Bible. I really do. And more so nowadays than ever before in my life. Because I see a cacophony of stuff going on out in the world that, frankly, I don't recognise anymore. I don't recognise the majority of the people in my country all looking at each other as if they've got a killer disease and virus, not realising that they're all part of the same tribe. It's true. We need to stand together and say enough. We do. And we are. That's the thing, we are. Don't live in fear, just use common sense. Amen, I agree with that. Remember, they took peanuts off the bar and pubs. Why? Because people didn't wash their hands. Yeah, but we've been eating peanuts off the bars for years. And here's the thing. You know, we over-sanitize. You won't build up any immunity unless you get your hands stuck in dirt. Right? You just won't. Here's one for you, a bit of history. Many years ago in Rome, there was a certain part of Rome that was built near swampland. Now, the only illness that these people near the swampland ever used to get was like a malaria kind of system from the mosquito bites. Every other illness, never touched them, but they got malaria. Now, what this did, it gave them a fever, and it took their blood up to a temperature where they could just about sustain life. Yeah, they're shivering and shaking and stuff's coming out of them, salt and fluids and all that. And if they made it through, if they didn't, they died. But they mainly lived. So the only thing that ever got them was this malaria kind of bug. But most of them all got over it. No other illness, nothing else touched them, right? Until they cleared the swamp, they got rid of the mosquitoes, and all of a sudden, the population start suffering with everything else that everyone else does, right? So when I was a kid, I was always out in the back garden, rolling around in the dirt, playing with my toy soldiers, with my tin cars and that. We had a bath, used to be in the back garden, only in the summer. You wouldn't be brave enough to do it. We used to put the bath in the kitchen, tin bath. You hang it on the back of your door. You have a big tin bath. Mum would get in the water, Dad would get in the water, I'd get in the water, my brother would get in the water because he was the youngest. Last in line, son. Last one in, bosh. You get the soap. Wash. Get in there. But we never worried about all this. And we used to have illnesses. We had mumps, measles, all that sort of stuff. But luckily, we got through it all. And what it does, it builds your immunity. Makes you immune. It builds up your immunity. So you've got a good immune system. It's a bit like growing vegetation, growing plants. When you grow your vegetables every year, if you put your veggies out in containers when it's still a bit frosty and a bit nippy, they get through it, but it makes them hardy. They grow, they survive better. Why? Because they get used to their environment. That's a fact. If you let your stuff grow up late in the season, your crops are going to be crap. Why? Because you've not built the immunity and the hardiness into them for that environment that they're going to get through. That's a proven fact. It's the same for men and women. You have to get your immune. Now, when I was a kid, you cut yourself, mama put a plaster on it. That was it. You had a few tears, you moved on. Now, oh, my life. The childhood that I had would ruin a kid today. The childhood that I had, I'm 53 this month. The childhood that I had, coming down rope slides, yeah, holding on to two handles from 50 foot up, coming sliding down and landing a load of tyres the other and doing that day in, day out. If you let go, you're going to fall. You're going to kill yourself. So you held on that little bit tighter. If I took a kid back to when I was a kid now, from today, they'd need counselling. They'd be down the doctors tomorrow with mother. Mother, what's that? Oh, my son, he's been back to the 70s. Oh, God, does he need a tablet? Yeah, doc, can you give him a prescription for saying he ain't going back there? Give me one kid of 8 years old today. He'll come back with me to my time when I was 8 years old. I'll bring that kid back at the end of the day. He would need counselling, or she would need counselling. That kid would be going, oh my God. They wouldn't be able to deal with the upbringing that I had. Wouldn't be able to deal with it. Oh, mind, whoa, yeah, don't let them sit on Santa's lap. Oh, tell them to mind strangers. We never had to mind anyone back then because the bad stuff wasn't really happening because our communities used to keep us together. They'd look out for us. If you was down the road and you was getting out your neighbourhood, one of your friends would go around and see mum, go and get your son or whatever. That's what we used to do. Now we couldn't care a shit. But we're worried about COVID-19. Everyone's, oh, you're going to get the COVID. So what are you going to get? You're going to get, if you're going to live, you're going to live. You're going to die, you're going to die. So what? People die of cancer every day. People die of heart attacks every day. People die of tuberculosis every day. People die of syphilis every day. Are we all having this big canary hissing fit about all these other things? Or have they just all disappeared? Have they just disappeared? No. We're all focused on this thing. Why are we focused on COVID-19? Because the government are programming you to focus on it. It's the only reason. The only reason you're focused on this thing like batshit right now is because the government are making you focus on it because of the media, the TV, the radio, and the newspapers. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. If Boris Johnson said tomorrow the flu is going to kill 100,000 people next year and it's going to be evil, everyone, oh, I've got to wear a mask, the flu's coming. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy that we've let these people control us with this nuts. Tell me I'm wrong. The UK was told what the worst case scenario could be, but luckily we didn't get the worst case, but places in Brazil. I guarantee you, right, I'll promise you now, that every mask wearing individual in this country hasn't made a blind bit of fucking difference to the outcome of whether someone gets it or not. Because if you expect me to believe that a virus would stop because someone's wearing a bit of a muzzle, you're joking me. Because my mate wore a mask earlier today. We went round to get some materials, and we walked round there because it's only up round the corner. He's got his black mask that's muzzled him all from here up round here. And he's wearing his glasses. He went, I can't have it on for too long. It steams me glasses up. I said, yeah, so you're exhaling and it's going into your eyes. A virus can get into your eyes. It can get into your mouth. It can get into your nose. It can get through your skin. And it's all about protecting everybody else, isn't it? Oh, well, why are you wearing that? I'm protecting others. No, you're not. If you fart, yeah, I'm a down-to-earth man. You fart, that gets through a pair of jeans and a pair of pants, bosh, and it fills the room. Virus, if the actual size of a particle of a virus, which is a dead thing, and a mask, might as well put a tennis racket on your face. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. I promise you now, these masks have got no. And look at the way they're being discarded. It's disgusting. I've got one up the end of the road from mine just before you turn right, and I live out in the country. It's been there for 3 fucking weeks. No one's picked it up. It's on the road with all its dirty bits and bobs. And when you exhale, you're supposed to give out your carbon dioxide. You're not supposed to be breathing that back in. This is all about submission, ladies and gentlemen. This is all about you will submit. You will put your mask on. It started in the 70s with the seatbelt. Don't wear a seatbelt, they drag you out of the car and kick shit out of you. Why? Because it's about control. This is nothing more than control. Every day they're looking at ways, how can we control people? How can we make them do what we want them to do? Put the seatbelt on, do this, do that, put a mask on. What next? When do you think this mask stuff's stopping? Do you think in 6 months' time, all your vanity and your invaluable contribution to mankind is going to stop? Don't think so. You're going to be wearing masks for a long time. The Spanish people have said, their authorities out there have said, you'll be wearing masks till 2022. You've got another 3 years of this shit. I want to know if you're all going to be so keen to be wearing these things in 3 or 4 years' time, these face nappies that do nothing. There's more disease going to be spread by the discarding of these filthy things than there ever will be from not wearing one. Why don't we talk about boosting the immune system? Why don't we talk about quinine in tonic water? Why don't we talk about zinc? Why don't we talk about healthy, proper food? Come and Tarquin, put your mask on. We're going for McDonald's. Fucking hell. While mum's smoking a fag. The amount of people I've seen out with masks, pull them down, they're smoking their head off, and they pull them back. I'm like, that must stink. God, dear. Do we want Khan as PM? No. As that's what they want if they don't, people realise conspiracy pushers came to push this shit, so trigger us all and cause unrest. I don't think there are people out there that are conspiracy theorists. I think the ones that get called conspiracy theorists have a massive dollop of common sense. That's what I think. I think the ones that you would deem conspiracy theorists are blessed by common sense because they see through this bullshit. The only way you're ever going to protect yourself from a virus is to stick on a hazmat suit with your own oxygen supply. Conspiracy theorist equals common sense. And the two words don't go together, conspiracy theorist. And who brought the words in the conspiracy theory? The CIA, the masters of illusion and distraction. The CIA invented the words back in the 70s. And when you call someone a conspiracy theorist, you just shut down debate. Normal adults lose the ability just to communicate and not get the arse and get too upset with what someone's saying. Just turn away and not listen. They get triggered. Oh, he's a conspiracy theorist. Well, guess what? You're an idiot. You just shut down debate. You just shut down good, honest, wholesome discussion where we can actually get to the truth and the bottom of all this nonsense. He's black, he's white, he's this, he's Chinese. Oh, you're a xenophobe. You hate lesbians, you hate gays. You're just shutting down truth and debate all the time. It's got to stop. We're so divided. We don't know unity no more. We don't know how just to accept people for who they are. We just don't know how to do that no more. We get so triggered. If we don't agree with what someone says, we get so triggered. And the system's sitting back going, oh, this is so good. They're doing our bidding for us. Look, it's not the police I'm worried about this coronavirus and the mask wearing. It's the actual people. There's been some really violent people attacking people that won't wear masks, you know. It's quite sad. It's quite sad. They block anyone who wants to talk about it. They are an echo chamber. Boom. So why do they block everybody? Family of four, only person caught it and only one died. Others didn't affect. If you eat well and you take good minerals and stuff and you've got a good immune system and you're not killing it by putting anti-vac on your hands all the time and washing out all the oils out of your skin. Your skin's supposed to be oily, people. You're supposed to have an oil skin. It's called your epidermis. It stops all that transference. I've known people that talk to me about how great an Epsom salt bath is, how it pulls all the toxins out of your body. Fill an Epsom bath up, put a cup of Epsom salts in there, bosh, get in there for half hour. My friend, 2 kids started showing signs of autism, going a little bit quirky. She stuck them in the bath. The kids are about 6 or 7, right? She put them in the bath, whacked a load of Epsom salts in. After 5 minutes, the kids are screaming. There's bits of metal leaching out through their skin. Believe me if you want to. That's the truth. She wouldn't lie to me. And when the kids go out of the bath, she emptied the bath, and on the bottom of the bath was all these metal filings. Come out of their bodies. Epsom salt straws, all the rubbish out. Onions on the bottom of your feet. Put onions on the bottom of your feet overnight. Put your socks on. Yeah? Your missus won't want to touch you. But you take them socks off in the morning. Look at them onions. You're pulling all the toxins out of your body. So many old remedies out there that are just so good for you. Financial criminals, struck off medical staff, violent criminals who have done time. Would you let them into your homes? Who do online and think we're trustworthy? All I know is that this country's pretty broken, and all the men and women in this country are just seen as corporate entities to violate and to rape and to put their hands in your pockets. It's a slavery-based system, and it has to stop, and it will stop. On my watch, this will stop. I guarantee you now, as God is my witness, we end this. We're going to end it. At some point, we're going to end this corporate system. And we're going to bring our servants back to the rule of law. We must do. We must do this for future generations. Because my ancestors stood up for me. They went and fought battles so that I could live in freedom. Or they thought that I could live in freedom. We have to be strong. We can't be cowed. We can't be in fear all the time. Someone said to me, what if you caught coronavirus and died of it because you ain't wearing a mask? So be it. So be it. If I caught it and died, so be it. Not bothered. I'm not worried about it. Why would you worry? And that's been my mantra all the way through this. I walk in faith, not fear. I get up every morning and thank God for my existence. But if today is the last day, so be it. Because no one's promised tomorrow. Nobody, no child, no adult, no elderly, no ancients are promised tomorrow. None of us. So that's why we walk in faith, ladies and gentlemen. We don't walk in fear. Adama, I hope you wrote that name down, and I hope you contact Stella and John, and I hope they help you. They will help you. I know they will help you. And if you look me up on Facebook, I've showed you my profile picture. It is me wearing the full armour of God. Ephesians chapter 6 through 9. My most favourite verse apart from John 3:16. I read that book all the time because it reminds me of who I am and who I belong to. And it keeps me walking in this spirit, this faith-driven, gives me the strength and courage to do what I've got to do. And it doesn't bother me whether people agree with me, people like me. I'm not here for that. I'm here to bring back God's kingdom to the earth, to bring back the greatness and bring back the light. That is all. I'm not here for any other reason. I'm here to give people hope and pull their spirit out of them and put their backbones back into them and say, what is going on? Woe unto you scribes. Luke 11. Yeah, he turned. Woe unto you scribes. Yes, thou who is a scribe. Yeah, but we are reading backwards, Paulie up. 6 to 8 intensive care beds in each hospital. All we are trying to do is not flood these departments with more. Hospitals ain't busy. We've just seen, and she's probably going to get the sack, Louise Hampton. I hope I said her surname. Hampton. Yeah, Louise Hampton. In her 30s, gorgeous looking woman. I've got to tell you, this woman is as pretty as you like. Fit as a fiddle. Not as though I'm trying to trap her up. She is gorgeous. She works for the NHS. She come on, got a certificate, and she said, this is a load of rubbish. She said, I've got a certificate of the NHS are telling me how great I've been through this COVID. She said, I've done fuck all. She said, I never clapped for myself. She said, why was I clapping myself when I ain't done nothing? This is someone that works in the National Health. Are they crazy? Is she crazy? She faces getting the sack now because her video's gone viral. Her name's gone viral. And the NHS have gone, we need to have a chat with you. That's what mafias do. Where's your freedom of speech when you can't just tell it how it is? I'd love for the police to just tell it how it is without losing their jobs and yeah, we know what's going on. I'd love the NHS, every single individual in, because that's how you keep things decent, is when people can just speak out when there's corruption going on. Instead of being stymied and sat on, we're going to lose your job, go and join the dole queue. While they sit up there in their ivory towels. It's fucking sick. Sick. Absolutely sick. So she could lose her job because she dared to care. And she thought, I'm calling this out for what it is. We encourage people to speak out. We really do, because the time is right now. The other day, I saw someone comment on a post the other day, and they were saying families should be put onto quarantine camps to stop the spread if we're in trouble. Well, welcome to concentration camps. That's why I see the flights coming into this country when the first flights come back from China. And they said, we're going to quarantine these people for 2 weeks. I thought they're testing this to see whether the people of England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales are accepting others going to concentration camps. We're going to see what sort of a public outcry, whether the people are going to scream out, and the people done fuck all, done nothing, couldn't be asked. No, that's the right, they're doing it for their own benefit. That was one of the Germans' favourite quotes. We're doing this for your benefit. The Nazi party. Why'd you shoot? Oh, we're doing it for your benefit. Didn't you know? No, I fucking didn't. I'd like to think of the German phrase, Uber mein Freit, or whatever it was, I don't know. But there was a German phrase, we're doing this for your safety. That was their mantra. Why are you doing all this? All for your safety. It's all to keep you safe. Beautiful. We should be giving everybody that's talking out a right pat on the back right now and saying, well done. It says in the Bible, speak your truth even if your voice shakes. Tells you. God instructs you. Don't matter what is coming your way. If you know something to be wrong, you need to call it out. If your voice shakes, you say it anyway. You're commanded to do that. People are blind to see, and if they believe it should be done, that's the worrying part. Amen, Jessica. I'm not here to take the mickey out of anyone. We need to call time on all this. We need to call it out for what this really is. Hello, Dr. Jones. How you doing, son? They took 2 siblings from a Madrid school last week, the quarantine centre. And the parents rang. You're living in the Fourth Reich, aren't you? That ain't never right. I tell you what, I said this years ago, and I will stand by this statement. When I was a child, and I was of an age of probably between 6 and 12, if anyone had come and took me from my mother and father and placed me in somewhere that I didn't know, I would probably have stabbed them people to death to get back to my mum and dad. Probably would have done. I would have killed to get back to my mum and dad. And I would have continued to do that until they get me back to my mum and dad. Because I know my mum and dad, I was given to them by God. They were my clan. They were my blood. I really would have. I'm telling you, if you'd have took me off my parents when I was a young kid, I'd have gone berserk. Because I was a proper sprited up soul. Let me tell you. Dr. Dawson is a character. He's more than a character. He's a legend. Victoria, I found out the FEMA camps, guillotines and black coffins. Guillotines were actually huge underground pipe valves, and the black coffins are for countries that flood, bodies rise to surface. Maybe. If they ever started putting people in concentration camps in this country, I think it'd be their worst day's work. Because there's 65 million of us and we're all waking up now. And I'm going to leave you with that. Because it's raining and I'm going to go and cook some grub. Because it's 6:30 and I don't know where my missus is. She's been out in the horse lorry all day. Europa. So, I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. Victoria West Payne, thanks for tuning in, darling. You and I had a good upbringing. Unfortunately, many don't. I agree with that, mate. Butlins concentration camps. Butlins felt like concentration camps at times, didn't they? Mervyn, hello, darling. I'm just about to go because I need a pee. I'm sure you wanted to know that. And I need to go and cook some grub because my missus will be home very soon. I do all the cooking in my house. And I work out now. I'm trying to get really fit. Rosh. But I promise you, if someone had took me from my family, from social services, had got involved with my mum and dad when I was a kid, from them years or whenever, and they took me away from my mum and dad and placed me with someone else, there would have been bodies because I would have waited until the middle of the night and I'd have got up and stabbed them to death because no one on this earth was ever going to take me away from my natural mother and father. Never. And I'm lucky enough I've still got them today. They're still alive. My mum was 72 on Sunday and my dad is in his mid-70s. And I can't imagine anything worse because they were my trust. They were they're gods to me. My mum and dad are like gods to me. And you should treat your mum and dad like gods because they are your gods. They're your property because you're proper to them and they're proper to you. I'm just a very old soul, ladies and gentlemen. Come back here and I feel a bit lost with the world at the moment. Not myself. I couldn't care. The world will go in whatever direction it wants to go in. But do I have to take part in that bollocks? No, I don't. No, I don't. Do I have to wear their stupid masks? No, I don't. And I will not. Never wear a face nappy. But you can if you want to. That's your choice. And if you want to roll over. There is a great scripture in the Bible, and it talks about the separation of the wheat and the tares. The parable of the sower. And it is apparent right now that we have a massive separation of the wheat and the tares. And this is we're being tested right now. Mankind, the system is testing the devil, Lucifer, is testing you all like you've got no tomorrow right now. And it's about standing up and putting on the breastplate of righteousness and going forward. You do that, there's no force on this earth that's going to stop you. You have to stand in that grace, in that light, in God's kingdom. You have to do that. You have to put on the light. You have to put on the full armor, and you have to understand what it means. And no one will touch you. No one. Ken O'Keefe at the beginning of the evil, but the rest is okay. Ken O'Keefe, bless him. He's a good lad. You will not realise how much you need and miss them until they're gone. Amen, Victoria. Why is history forbidden? Send evil back. We're going to send evil back, Paul. I'm here to send evil back with you lot. You're all coming with me. We're all going together. We're all going to make a new Jerusalem. We're all going to bring God's kingdom to earth. Trust me. Wheat from the chaff. It's a separation of wheat. You want to go and read the separation of the wheat and the chaff. Where we go one, we go all. Karen Campbell. Absolutely right. And trust me, Durf, God does win. I love you all. And I'll see you a little bit later. Here endeth the sermon. Thanks for tuning in, guys. By the way, if it's your first time, consider subscribing, pressing the like button, hitting the bell button for further notifications. And I'll be on wakeupuk.net on my radio show tomorrow night at 9 o'clock till 10:15. So come and join me. Come and have a chat. It'd be lovely to see you. I'll see you all soon.